Hello and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maria Ghulam Sarwar. I am a BS student, and today my lecture is about abnormal psychology, which is related to the field of educational psychology. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about the definition of abnormal psychology, different perspectives, criteria for abnormal behavior, and types of disorders. So let's get started with the definition. Abnormal psychology is branch of psychology that deals with psychopathology and abnormal behavior, including different types of unusual thoughts, feelings, and emotions. This term covers a broad range of disorders, from depression to OCD, which is also known as obsessive compulsive disorder, to different personality and behavioral disorders. The term abnormal psychology often relates to abnormal behavior, which is maladaptive, quite unusual and unjustifiable in the society. Now we will talk about the different perspectives which professional psychologists have came up with. There are six type of perspectives or school of thoughts, including psychoanalytic or psychodynamic, which is related to the unconscious mind; humanistic, which relates to the values and relationships of a human. Number three is behavioral, which is how a person behaves in a society. Number four is cognitive. It is about the thinking of a person, how the abnormal behavior is affected, negative or positive way. Number five is sociocultural, as how this person is living in the society. And number six is biomedical and neuroscience. This field is basically related to how the disorders have clinically been proven by the doctors and psychologists. Let's move on to different criterias. There are three type of criterias which will help us to understand the main purpose of behavior, and we can divide the different type of abnormal behaviors in these categories. Number one is maladaptive behavior. In this behavior, the person who is specifically suffering cannot properly react or adjust in situation. This kind of behavior makes it harder to function in everyday life or meet his everyday life decisions, which can be included as stress, anxiety disorders, or depression, which makes it harder for the person to think or to rationalize his thoughts. Number second is significant impairment in psychological functioning. Those people who have this mental illness lose their ability to totally have control over their mind, their body, and their thoughts. It basically includes, you can say, obsessive compulsive disorder or different type of phobias. When they are triggered, the person cannot take control on his mind or body. Number third is atypical behavior which is not typical with the majority of the population. This is type of behavior which is really uncommon and really very weird in people's eye, and the person who is doing these type of behavior, which can be included as a person who is really very um, acting weird and crazy and making random sounds and jumping around, etc., etc. This type of behavior is really uncommon between the people, and it makes them feel very overwhelmed. And finally, we'll come to the types of disorders. These type of disorders have two main parts. Number one is neurotic disorder. It is quite distressing, but one person who is affected can still function in the society and act rationally. You can say if the person is going through this type of disorder, he can actually be normal and live in a society and rationalize his thinking. These type of neurotic disorders includes generalized anxiety disorder, depression, where a person is bipolar, and obsessive compulsive disorder, also known as OCD, social phobia, and post traumatic stress disorder. The second type is psychotic disorders. In this disorder, the person loses totally contact with reality and experiences distorted type of perceptions. He totally loses his mind and cannot take control over his body. This type of disorder includes schizophrenia, brief psychotic disorder, paraphrenia, and delusional disorder. This is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. This was Maria Miraj with you all the time. Allah Hafiz.